What's going on, YouTube? JT's Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic reviews. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about The Conjuring, The Lover, issue number 2 of 5. Okay, so I reviewed this first issue in the series a few months back, and honest to God, I'm so sorry for the delay in some of these videos, but I think next week, the final issue is supposed to come out. So I'm like, these issues have been basically sitting in my Comixology app, basically unread for the longest time, and I'm just like, okay, I'll review it by the time the next issue comes out, and I'll just, catch up then. Then I'll catch up then. Then I'll catch up then. And it got to the point where I'm just like, I just got to get this done so I can kind of move it out of my library at this point. So here I am now. I mean, at this point, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It's already been out for a few months. It's already out on Blu-ray. I bought the Blu-ray and all that, so I own the movie now. And I guess we're just kind of picking up the last of the Conjuring universe for right now. Conjuring 3, I actually quite liked. You can go ahead and check out my review on that. And you can also check out my review on issue 1. I'm actually kind of forgetting a lot of what I said, but I reread issue 1 before rereading this and then going to reread the subsequent issues. But I liked Conjuring 3. I thought the villain in that one, the occultist, was probably the strongest villain in the series so far. And it was a success at the box office. And obviously it was also on HBO Max as well. But it still was a success. Not quite as scary as the first two films, but I think the villain was stronger this time around than in the first two films. So there's some benefits to Conjuring 3, and it still is a good movie, all things considered. I like The Conjuring 3. But let's go ahead and talk about issue 2 of this thing. So this issue picks up after the events of the last issue, where our character Jessica, who, if you've seen the movie, you know what happens to her. I won't spoil it just yet because we're only on issue 2 here. But basically, she's being tormented by something which we know now is the occultist from The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, that creepy trickster-esque villain that we got in the film who's trying to sacrifice the different people. As we know, there's the lover, the child, the man of God, who was Ed Warren, and then the child was obviously the little boy in that film they tried to sacrifice, and then obviously like he took over one of the demons and all that stuff, and she has the totems and all that stuff, like, the disciples of the ram, I believe, was the name of the cult that she's a part of. So yeah, we got kind of that, and basically Jessica is just being tormented by this thing, and it's basically kind of pushing her away from everyone, and it just keeps following her constantly. Like, she didn't really deserve any of this. She's just kind of an innocent girl who just gets caught up in this horrible situation by that creepy satanic bitch, the occultist who you've seen in the movie. We also know that she has an affinity for like one of her friends who, I mean, it was pretty obvious as I was kind of reading the first issue. Like, yeah, they were definitely like lesbian lovers going on there, and of course it's the 1980s, so things aren't the same as they are now in terms of the way those types of relationships are seen in the public eye. So yeah, so she's kind of having issues. She's talking to her friend Katie, as she's being tormented. And Katie's like, "Hey, you're up at college. Go have some fun." And she meets up with this guy Kyle, who was in the last issue. They go to this party, and she's still being tormented by this thing, and like everyone's just kind of looking at her like, "Okay, what's going on here?" So this is a really good like psychological type horror where it's just like this entity of sorts is kind of pushing her away from everything. And then she kind of walks away, and then she makes it back to her dorm. One of her roommates is there, Tammy, who we saw in the first issue, and she's like, okay, I'm just gonna get some sleep now. And then in the middle of the night, it basically the demonic voice is talking to her like, go ahead and kill, and she's about to kind of kill her roommate. And that's kind of where the culmination of that story ends. Going to this next story, of course, there's little occultist ads right here, which I do think is a nice little touch. We know that was from the movie and all that too. The backup issue, the backup storyline was written by Grayson with art by Juan Ferreyra, who I most know for like the Green Arrow Rebirth run, which is a really solid comic book. If you get the chance to, I highly recommend checking that out. But basically, these backup stories are telling about the different like artifacts in the Warren's rooms, and I almost wish they had like an entire issue. I think DC and The Conjuring should just do an ongoing series where it's just an anthology series. I mean, yeah, you have like 8 pages to kind of tell the story, and it just doesn't feel like enough time to really kind of flesh these things out. But I think maybe good long-sized one-shots, comics that tell stories of all the different artifacts within the Warrens' house, I think would be really cool. But like that's what the first one was with by Scott Snyder, which I like that one a little bit more than this one. But this one tells the story of that dress, which I think you could see in Annabelle Comes Home, if I'm not mistaken. and basically anybody who wears this dress ends up getting brutally killed. And one of the things I like about this issue, you have to go back and read it twice to really kind of pick up on all the details. Like if you read it once and kind of skim through it really quickly, it doesn't really do justice. But on the second read around is where you start to notice things like, oh, okay, I see there's a lot of visual clues contained here. But basically, this one woman was on the verge of getting married. Her husband basically cheated on her the night before, so she decides to murder him. And then I guess she becomes an evil spirit of sorts, and there's this kind of horrifying reveal here. Look at that. She looks like the damn Joker. The artwork here is really, really good. And then just kind of the cycle repeats, and then we get more ads for some of the horrifying Conjuring stuff going on here. But overall consensus, I actually think issue 2 is slightly stronger than issue 1. I like the backup story, but maybe I like this. I think I like the Scott Snyder backup story in the first issue a little bit better than this one. But still, all things considered, I did enjoy this thing, and I basically look forward to covering the next issue. So, if you've read this issue, what did you think of it? I know it's been a few months since it came out, but I'm in catch-up mode right now. So, let me know what you thought of it in the comment section down below. Be sure to hit the bell for notifications, like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content. Stay tuned. Coming up, I'm pretty much going to post all these videos simultaneously so that we're caught up. I think I have like a Godzilla comic that I'm also trying to review as well in time for New Comic Book Week, which is, well, now I guess. So, yeah. All right, that's all I got to say. Take care now. Bye-bye then. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace.